Hey guys, how's it going? Black Hills Mommy here, back again with our weekly meal plan. This is how my husband and I put our weekly grocery haul that I put up on Mondays, how we put all of that food to use throughout the entire week for our ever-changing family. And I say that because we are a foster family. You know what, guys? We are a large family without being a foster family. There are 9 of us automatically. That's in our family. Right now we have one foster kiddo, and previously we had a placement of 2. It's, you just never know. So that can change. That's why I always tell guys, listen to how I word how many people we're feeding and stuff during the grocery hauls, during our meal plan and stuff. Gives you some hints where we're at on placements and things, because I don't always announce that or anything. I try to do a once a month update on how things are going or where things are at. And actually I need to double check and make sure I got that one up for October, because I know I did it. It's been a little crazy, guys. Things have been insane. So on that note, I'm going to jump into my notebook here in just a moment. Really quick, if you watched yesterday's grocery haul video, then I was struggling a little bit. And things get really tough sometimes when my husband is doing all of the grocery shopping and I'm trying to figure out the meal plan and everything else. I really appreciate him being able to go and do the shopping, but there's some things that we do differently. And I work really hard to be okay with that, because this is the time we're in. I explained before why he does the grocery shopping more often than not lately, or here in 2020. And it really is because of COVID. Early on, it was because we weren't sure whether or not I should be leaving the house very often. At this point, we're not too worried about any of that, but his work has been so crazy because his line of work is considered essential. So, and they're busy. So it's just easier on average for him to stop and get groceries on his way home from work, because we don't live in town. We live a little ways out. So he will stop and get groceries half the time, most of the time. And you know what? We just work with it. A lot of times he'll call me. We have kind of a running joke where for a while I was keeping tallies of how many times he would call me while he was at the store, because he's not used to doing the shopping. And there is nothing wrong with that. It just, he's not used to it, so he calls me to make sure what he's getting. The hard part for me is I've always taken a lot of pride, I guess, in doing the shopping, and it's part of, keeping us in budget and stuff, because being at home, I look at that as part of my job. And so I'm not really able to do part of my job right now, and it's something, we're going on 20 years of me doing this. And so it's really hard to let some of that go. So like yesterday, guys, yeah, we had a heart-to-heart last night, and I will be taking over far more of the grocery shopping. We're going to be figuring out where we can tweak some things schedule-wise so that I can go do it, because while I'm really happy that we have been staying under budget on average, there are so many things being bought that I would not buy. And I've been trying really hard to be gracious and everything, but 5 to 8 bags of chips a week, that is not my style. I mean, if you guys go back to grocery hauls a year ago, that is not what I would buy. Things that him and I had discussed that we decided we didn't need this week ended up showing up anyhow because he forgot what we had discussed. If he can't find the right cut of meat, this is actually where the biggest problem comes in. I know what the meal plan is. He doesn't typically know what I have planned. So if I've got a specific cut of meat or a specific vegetable for a recipe, he does not know what that item is for. So sometimes he just doesn't get it, and then I'm left trying to figure out what to make out of the pantry. Or he will get something that he feels is a close enough substitute, and it's just not the same. A lot of times he will call me, but it's also really hard for me to make some of those choices over the phone. So that is where that's at. And I know I was actually really upset. In fact, I had said in that, I think when I was closing out the grocery haul video, that I was going to turn around and do the meal planning video. Truth was, I ended up being too upset about everything and just moved about my day. And I knew I had to remove myself from it. So now I'm doing it now. So let's get to it now that I have talked for too long. Okay. So for last week, first thing first, I can't remember if I had already done this the week prior or not. But I'm getting a little turnaround on some of this stuff. So I'm pretty sure that last week I had pointed out why I had squiggle lines and stuff. And that's because we had the spicy Dr. Pepper pulled pork from Pioneer Woman listed. He couldn't get the right cut of pork. And so as a substitute, he did end up picking up some al pastor so I could make that. And we had tacos with that instead. The curry chicken salad, we didn't have the water chestnuts for. The grilled cheese, we didn't have cheese slices for. It was kind of almost a running joke about the number of things we didn't have. But then there were still a lot of substitutions that were made, and this was also on me. So the Chipotle chicken chili, I had hoped to do, but guys, I gotta tell you, I did not anticipate a full week of unseasonably warm weather. And by unseasonably, I mean we are in November in South Dakota, and yesterday, was it yesterday? I think, yeah, it was in the 80s. It was crazy. It was like 82 or 83 was the high for the day in November. And so and the rest of the week was in the mid to upper 70s. Needless to say, I wasn't turning on the oven a whole lot. Chili just didn't seem very fitting anymore. So we just didn't make that. Thankfully, pretty much all of those ingredients are pantry and freezer ingredients that I typically have. So I'm going to double check that recipe, see if there's anything else I need to get separately. And I'll probably do that a different week. The taco style lentils and rice, because we substituted in the al pastor, we didn't need a second round of tacos. And both of those dishes make a lot of leftovers. And I think I had actually said that last week too, where I wasn't sure that one was going to happen, and it didn't. We did, however, because of the warm weather, we had the nachos, the Instant Pot honeybee chicken. I just didn't end up making that. We had our roofers were here all week. And then they were putting in 4 new windows for us on the end of our house because 2 of those had also been cracked by that hail back over in the summer. And so again, I was altering and shifting a lot of what I was making based on what all was going on. We did, however, have cheddar brats one day. That cheesy taco dip that I had mentioned that was for Halloween because it's something I only make for holidays. My older kids decided they wanted it for Halloween instead of waiting for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we had that. We had macaroni and cheese. We had burger bake, kind of like a shepherd's pie cheeseburger bake combo. And then we had pizza one night. It was one of those where I called Sean. I said, hey, look, things are a little crazy today. You're going to be on your way home. I'll order it. You pick it up. And typically he knows that if I call and ask that it just means that that's probably what's going to happen. And unless he's in the wrong direction or too close to home, yeah, it happens on occasion, and I try to write that down. So, moving on to this week. Now, guys, you're going to catch glimpses of the notebook here. I am genuinely trying to work farther ahead in my meal plan, so here's a really fast glimpse. I have got stuff for this week as well as for the next 2 weeks written in here. I'm going to also admit I have ripped multiple pages out of this notebook lately because working that far ahead is something I've really also gotten out of the habit of doing. And so I'm trying to it's taking a lot of restructuring and reformulating because I haven't done it in a while. And so guys, when you do this kind of stuff, that's why I love using a notebook. If I have to rip a page or 2 out because I realized I completely forgot which week a holiday was on or that there's going to be birthday parties coming up, both of which is very real here in November. It's just one of those things where I can do it. I can rip it out. It's completely guilt-free. I'm not throwing anything else off in the notebook. I am about almost halfway through my notebook at this point. So I've got plenty to go, and they're cheap enough. When I get to that point, because I can do 3 weeks per page on average. And now I will say I've got all sorts of other stuff written in the back of this notebook because I've used the last few pages for notes for other things. But it really helps to know that I can take those pages out. It's not going to affect anything. I can go buy a new notebook for $1 or less at the store when I run out, but I am not at risk of running out anytime soon. In fact, I'm betting I will still be using this one at least through the spring. We'll see how close to summer we get and where it falls at that point. Okay, so on to this week. Finally, I feel like I'm really talky today, and I don't know why. So I apologize to those who that bothers, because I seem to get some comments on videos about that, and if you don't like it, whatever. It's just who I am. So that curry chicken salad, that is on here because if you guys watch that grocery haul, you know that we got the water chestnuts, so we're good there. Grilled cheese. Sean also picked up the cheese slices, so we can finally have that. Shepherd's pie. This week, our temperatures are supposed to be dropping back again. In fact, tomorrow. So, guys, I said that yesterday we were in the 80s. Tomorrow, our high is like 31 or 32. Today was in the lower 50s. So at least we had a day in between to kind of bridge in between the two. It is not completely impossible in this area to literally have it go from the 70s or 80s down to the 30s or 40s. So I'm thankful for this day in between, but yep, it's going to be colder again this week. Which is funny because really the only truly hot thing I'm making then is the shepherd's pie. The rest are just quick, easy things because pigs in a blanket and then BLTs. The BLTs, we do have a package of bacon in the fridge still that has been there for a few weeks. We got that a little while back when Sean picked up 2 packages for me. And I did have him pick up those tomatoes because it turns out our extra kiddo really likes BLTs. And he was out in the garage fridge looking for some quick, easy foods because we do freezer food sometimes for lunch. And he happened to see the package of bacon, and both him and the 8-year-old, they were really kind of excited about the prospect and asking if we could do that. So I said we would do that this week. And we're still in that, because the weather is so wonky, it does mean that produce actually seems to turn even faster than when it's just hot out. Because when you waver between too cold and too hot, trust me, produce doesn't like that. So we are going to have, in fact, I think tomorrow we're going to have the BLTs. We're going to work through some of that stuff. There's probably some more things I'm going to be adding. Now, one thing I have been doing in the past, and I mentioned this last week, is that I was, my previous plan, and so guys, I talk about being flexible all the time, and it's still so important because, again, I'm doing what works for me. It's so important to do what works for you when you do this. Before, I was writing my hopeful meals over on the far right side. This was the list of things I knew I could make because we had the stuff. Part of that was coming into play because I was not always writing my full meal plan until groceries were coming home. I was getting to that point because I didn't know what Sean might be substituting with other things, or if something was going to come up or whatever. Or just something he couldn't get. I didn't know. So I was getting into a habit of I would have an idea. I would make a list based on that idea. And then I would write my meal plan after things came home and I could figure that out. Which was also throwing things off. So what I am actually doing now, and I'm going to break this down really quick. You're going to see some of these have dashes ahead of them. That was because the dash means there's something in here that we need the ingredient for, because I wrote this out ahead of time. So we needed the water chestnuts for the curry chicken salad. We needed the cheese slices for the grilled cheese. I have everything I need for the shepherd's pie, including a ton of potatoes that I still need to use. We've gone through about half of that 50-pound bag, but I still have half of that to go through. And I got to, when potatoes start to turn, that is not pleasant. So I need to get moving through those. The pigs in a blanket, that we needed hot dogs. We had, actually I think we needed the hot dogs and the crescent rolls, because I don't know if we have any crescent rolls left. And then the BLTs, we had the bacon, we had the lettuce, but we needed the tomatoes. So that's why 5 of those items have those dashes next to them, because it just is something I was planning for. So that's what I'm going to be doing from at this point for a little while forward until something else changes, at which point I'll let you guys know, because sometimes these changes might help you do something that is going to work a little bit better for you. So that dash means I was working on it. And then that way, once the groceries came in, I could be like, we couldn't get the water chestnuts. So I could just cross that off. Not a big deal. Now I can go ahead, and as we make other things, I can add them down here. I can write more things over here. It all works out. And it keeps us on track. And again, guys, like I said, I'm going to be taking the grocery shopping back over. We're going to see how this works out. Um, things just keep shifting and changing, and I'm thankful that we have continued to stay under budget with Sean doing the grocery shopping, and I am very thankful to him for doing it and being willing and able. But it'll be nice to take that back over. I do know that while he tends to gravitate towards some of that junk food and extra stuff that we don't necessarily need in that way, I know that I have a tendency to almost overbuy produce sometimes, and which is almost worse because that will go bad faster, and it tends to cost more than the chips and stuff that he's buying. So my first goal is going to be to stay on track budget wise, and it's just going to be balanced. So we're going to see how this plays out over the next couple weeks. Through November here, and then watch, we're going to get like some major weather dumps or something else, and I am going to be pretty much stuck in the house and right back to Sean doing it, because I've managed a week here or there all year long, I guess, and that maybe what this winter turns into, I don't know. I'm not banking on anything. I'm hoping, I'm planning. I put it in a different video that we make plans and God laughs, and that's that. And that can be as simple as working on my grocery hauls and my meal planning. Anyhow, guys, there is that. Later this week, we have a birthday party coming up. It's actually going to be on Saturday. So I am going to be making my soda cake that I mentioned in yesterday's grocery haul on Friday. I will be doing a video with that so I can show that. Now, here's the catch. I do not know if I'm going to get that uploaded in time on Saturday. If I don't, it will go up the following week on Wednesday, because other than a few rare circumstances, I try not to upload on Sundays. It's, it's a Sabbath day for us. We just take the day, and I try not to. Now, there's certain things I will schedule and still put up, but I try not to. So that will either go up on Saturday or the following Wednesday. And then here in the next week, I am really hoping, yay, to do the update to our Ancestry DNA videos really quick. It's actually going to be split into 2 parts because I have a feeling that it's just going to take long enough, and I don't want it to be too long of a video. So I'm going to do mine in one video with updates on any additional information I may or may not have on my great aunt that went missing and then subsequently was found when she was 2. As well as my DNA results, which are interesting in and of themselves. And then in Sean's video, we will go over all of the information, because there are a lot of people who are trying to be very helpful in the comments and stuff about the Native American DNA and how some of that works. And we want to give some updates on that, where we're at with it, and what has and has not come of all of the research done on his side. So those will be coming up in the next week or 2 as well. Those will not go up this week. It'll be done hopefully this week. So there's that. In the meantime, I hope that you guys are having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss everything else coming up next. And I'll see you in the next one.